You meet someone, and from the very first conversation, there is an instant connection. It feels as if you've known them forever. You start to believe they are the right person, the one who will understand you, love you, and never hurt you. But as time passes, the relationship starts to change. The person who seemed perfect begins to show sides that confuse and hurt you. Eventually, things fall apart, and you are left wondering how you ended up here again, in the same painful place. Why does this pattern repeat? Why do you always fall for the wrong people? Even when you tell yourself that this time will be different. This profound question fascinated Carl Jung, one of the greatest psychologists in history. The Swiss psychiatrist and founder of analytical psychology spent his life uncovering the hidden forces that shape our relationships and explaining why we are irresistibly drawn to certain people, even when they hurt us. Today we will explore Jung's deep insights into this phenomenon and, most importantly, how to break free from this destructive cycle. Before we begin, make sure to subscribe to Soul Dose so you never miss upcoming videos that explore the depths of human psychology and relationships. Now let's dive into Jung's profound teachings. Carl Jung believed that the people we are most drawn to reflect our own unconscious mind. According to Jung, every human being has an inner world filled with parts of ourselves that we are unaware of. Fears, desires, wounds, and dreams that we have hidden away. Jung called this hidden part of ourselves the unconscious, and he believed that the people we fall in love with often mirror these hidden aspects. When we meet someone who unconsciously reflects our inner wounds or unmet needs, there is an instant, powerful attraction. This is why we often say, "It just felt right," or "I felt like I knew them forever." But what feels right may not always be what is healthy. If you carry unresolved wounds from childhood, like abandonment, rejection, or neglect, you may be unconsciously drawn to people who make you feel the same way you felt as a child. Jung called this process projection, where we project our inner world onto another person. Instead of seeing them as they truly are, we see them through the lens of our own wounds and desires. This is why we often overlook red flags and warning signs, because deep down, we are not falling for the person themselves but for what they represent to our unconscious mind. For example, if you felt unloved or unseen as a child, you may be drawn to people who are emotionally unavailable, hoping that if you can finally make them love you, it will heal your old wounds. But instead of healing, this often leads to more pain. Jung explained that until we make these unconscious patterns conscious, they will control our lives, and we will call it fate. He wrote, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." This is why so many people find themselves in the same painful relationships over and over again. It is not bad luck or destiny. It is an unconscious pattern that is waiting to be healed. Another key concept Jung introduced is the idea of the shadow, the parts of ourselves that we deny, reject, or hide. The shadow holds not only our negative traits, but also our deepest wounds and fears. If we do not confront and integrate our shadow, it will continue to influence our choices, especially in relationships. We are often attracted to people who carry the qualities of our own shadow. For instance, if you reject your own need for love and tenderness because you think it's weak, you may be drawn to someone who withholds love, mirroring your own inner rejection. Jung believed that relationships are one of the most powerful mirrors of our inner world. The people we choose, especially those who hurt us, are messengers showing us what is unresolved within us. This is why painful relationships are often the greatest opportunities for inner growth, if we are willing to see the truth. But how can you break free from falling for the wrong people? The first step is self-awareness. You must begin to observe your own patterns in relationships. What kind of people are you consistently drawn to? What emotional experiences do you keep repeating? Do you often feel abandoned, rejected, or unworthy? These patterns are clues to the wounds you are carrying. The second step is to confront your shadow. This means facing the parts of yourself that you have denied, your fears, insecurities, and unmet needs. Instead of seeking someone else to fill those gaps, you begin to heal and love those parts within yourself. Jung emphasized that healing comes from integration, bringing the unconscious into the light of awareness. The more you heal, the less you will feel an uncontrollable attraction to people who mirror your wounds. You will begin to choose partners who are healthy, loving, and truly compatible with your authentic self. Another important step is to set boundaries. People who are trapped in cycles of falling for the wrong person often have weak boundaries. You must learn to say no to what hurts you, even if it feels familiar. Remember, familiarity is not the same as love. Just because something feels familiar does not mean it is good for you. Jung also spoke about the importance of individuation, the process of becoming whole by integrating all parts of yourself. As you become more whole, you no longer seek another person to complete you. Instead, you enter relationships as a complete being, capable of giving and receiving love without losing yourself. Protecting your heart is not about building walls, but about healing the wounds that make you vulnerable to the wrong people. Jung teaches us that when we understand the unconscious forces that drive us, we can break free from destructive patterns and create healthier, more fulfilling relationships. So the next time you feel that intense pull towards someone, pause and ask yourself, what part of me are they reflecting? What old story am I repeating? Awareness is the first step to change. Remember, you deserve a love that heals, not a love that hurts, and it begins with healing yourself. Carl Jung's deep wisdom reminds us that love is not just about finding the right person, but about becoming the right person for ourselves. So are you ready to break free from the cycle of falling for the wrong people and start building a life and relationships that truly honor who you are? Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe to Soul Dose to continue exploring these powerful insights into human psychology and relationships. See you in the next video.